This is Channels. We listen, we tell, we inspire. This is
Okay, I've been an educator for more than half a century, like 56 years, because I'm now 76, from the University of the Philippines. And I laud those alumni from my university. You're very articulate, and the country needs you. I think the issue of education is so central to what we're doing in terms of getting you back into the fold of society and become active participant in the building of a better Philippines. I congratulate all of you for having the courage to come back, to be embraced by the Republic and the government. But that said, I think you should be able to make yourselves competent, knowledgeable, and skilled before you can become active participant in the making of our nation. So I guess General Salamat and I and all the other actors involved here, we really have to pay particular attention to education. As I always say, you want to reform society, there are three things: education, education, and education. Because everything else will emanate from that. It is the greatest multiplier effect for the reformation of society. Do you agree? Yes. There is a certain sadness in me as I was listening, especially to the University of the Philippines students. Because I've been there. I was a freshman in 1962 when the whole campus was reeking of activism. I was also there running in the streets, you know, about the military bases, the abuses there. But I graduated from that phase in my life. And I realized later on that the best way to really serve as a productive citizen of our country is to be somebody, an architect, an engineer, a scientist like me, because that is really all the efforts that we need. Because after all, the support that you get from the government through the NTF-ELCAC, I want you not to put the government in the vortex of your life. Because I want you to have the individual initiative to improve yourself and to derive your self-worth from your own work. It's a challenge that I am giving everyone. The support will be given to you, ang suporta ay ibibigay sa inyo. No? Everything, in education, livelihood, skills. That's why it's called the whole of government approach. You know, every one of the 21 departments, we really have to put together all their efforts and energy to make these things happen. We only need your participation in the program. And at a later time, I want you to spin away from the program and become a citizen, you know, tracking your own future, whatever that future might be, and moving away from the centeredness of the government as, you know, an ingredient in your life. After all, I'm a political scientist, so I know that the verb for government is not to control, nor to command, but to regulate, which means that the individual effort is really the seed of all development that can happen. You will notice the government is not supposed to be an employment agency. It is really the private sector. You'll be businessmen, you will be engineers, you'll be scientists. You are the one who will create value. So these are the things that I would need to impart to you as an educator. And yes, you talked about recruitment. You know, this is happening in the university setting. You talked about teaching, socialism, Karl Marx. I teach that course. That's a course in political theory, isn't it? It's okay to advocate communism, fascism, whatever ism you want to advocate. It is not okay to attempt to overthrow the government. Do you see the difference? It's okay to be, to be an ideologue and to believe in these things, isn't it? It's okay to believe in anything that you want to believe in because we are living in a liberal democracy. But it is not okay when you engage in violence. I also teach a course in political psychology, so I have an understanding, a deeper understanding and a broad understanding of the nature of political violence. And it doesn't start with violence right away. It starts with alienation. I'm sure all of you started with alienation. I wish I could speak in Tagalog, no? But the concepts are in English, and magkakagaril-garil ako dito pag nagsalita ako ng Tagalog. Anyway, I will use the English term. So, hindi pwedeng Cebuano. I only speak Tagalog and English. So yes, so what I'm saying is that Secretary Faustino, you've been faced with this continuing issue of recruitment. Do you know that we cannot stop anything that is happening in the university, and it's not just in the UP, because we are cloaked in the academic freedom principle. Like, you cannot attend my class unless I allow you to, isn't it? I design my own syllabus. The moment another person tells me to, to redesign my syllabus, I tell him to go to hell, because that's part of academic freedom, for me to design the syllabus according to my best light. So if I want to teach a political theory course, the whole semester of 16 weeks on Karl Marx, I will do that, and nobody can interpose any objection. That said, if you've been to University of the Philippines Diliman campus, this recruitment is happening under the banana tree, under the acacia tree. And you'd really have to be a superwoman or superman to be able to track down all these things which are happening, because they're not happening in the one-off thing. They're happening continuously, and they're happening in different settings. I would rather that we concentrate our minds and our programs on removing the things that causes you to rebel. Why do men rebel? Edgar, men rebel because of relative deprivation. It's not so much that you're poor, because, otherwise every poor person would just be a rebel. It's not the case. It's because Amihan got more than Marikit, and she rebelled. See, it's relative deprivation. It's not absolute deprivation. And that is grounded in the empirical literature. In other words, it's evidence-based. So that is the one that we should address. Because recruitment is simply a symptom of something that is happening on the ground. So even while you may have all the noble efforts to stop it, within a university setting, it is difficult to stop it unless you violate certain rules like wiretapping. And you know that you need a court order to do that. Yeah, so this is not to denigrate the efforts of the military secretary, Faustino. It is really to establish the environment within which we keep on, pushing and hoping that recruitment will stop. I want us to rethink and shift gear and really look at the source of why our students are in fact turning to be rebels. And look at the age. We get you at around 16, 17, 18. If you look at the development of your brain, that is the time when you are a high-risk taker, isn't it? A very high-risk taker. And that happened to me, that happened to my brother, who is with the Philippine Science High School. We just wanted to change the world, but we went beyond that phase. And we wanted to change the world by being scholars and by being a professor. Thank you.